again, we are in that week or 2 weeks of boredom, right? There is no football. Of course, there is football players. They've gone to their countries to play for for their nations. I think there is mostly this week is going to be your World Cup qualifiers and quite a lot of friendlies happening all over the world, but it's actually a difficult week for YouTubers because there's not much in terms of football, right? Because already, if you start for the last month or two, I think from August, it was like game after game, game after game, right? And now all of a sudden it's slowing the pace down and all those kind of things. But you know what, there is a lot, right? There is a lot that is still happening. I wanted to start with Mr. Angie, the big man from Nottingham Forest, right? He has been in charge of Nottingham Forest for the last 7 games, right? 7 games, right? And he hasn't won. I think he has lost five and drawn two of them, right? So it's a difficult situation for Angie because one, the expectation was that he was going to be a step ahead or an elevation of Nuno's, right? Or Santos, whatever name that you want to use, right? But unfortunately, the graph has actually gone down. I think he's according to the reporters, actually is one of the worst managers or the worst start of Nottingham Forest since 1925 or something like that, right? But for me, I've always said that I think he wasn't a good fit for Nottingham Forest. He's not a good fit for Nottingham Forest, and I think that if they want to win, right, they need to for especially to survive this season, they need to look for more programmatic or problematic coach, someone who is more naive, someone who can actually make sure that the defense is done properly. The if they are winning 1-0, they have to defend that 1-0. If they go away, they need to go and at least draw and all those kind of things. Otherwise, they will be in trouble because their next match next weekend, it's against Chelsea, and you know what Chelsea did against Liverpool. They are a team in form. They are a team that, looking at situations like they want to be in the top four, they want to be in the top two, they want to be in the Champions League. And but unfortunately, also for Chelsea, is that last year Forest was actually a difficult team to play against. The Chelsea, I think we lost one and we drew one or something like that. But it was a very difficult team to play against last season. That's why they also, I think, finished fifth or sixth, if I'm not mistaken. But look at this. The coach has changed, the players, most of the players has changed. We Chelsea is now more attacking players. They've got now Estavo, they've got now Gittens, they've got now Garnacho, and they've also brought in João Pedro and all those kind of things. So the circumstances of last year and this year has changed. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game. Okay, right. The next story that I wanted to speak about is Reece James, right? Um, it's scary that he has pulled out of the England national team. I think yesterday, I think he was posting some injuries on his foot or leg, or fresh injuries. I think they were also blood on there and all those kind of things. So that's the unfortunate part. The problem also with Chelsea now is that this guy has been in form since last year, and we thought that he has overcome injuries and all those kind of things. So we just pray that the injury, or it's the pulling out of the national team, is more pro. It's just to avoid long-term injury, if I may say. So it's more to say, just go for these 2 weeks and rest, and then go back and play for your team. Because otherwise, as we all know, that this guy might, if he's injured, he might even go for the whole season, or 6 7 months, not play again, and you also need to gradually bring him back. So Chelsea has got too many injuries. And but the positive thing is also that Lavia is back and he played so well against Liverpool. And I'm thinking that next game against Forest, he will have to start. Of course, he may not play the whole 90 minutes, but I think he can start and play 60 minutes and see how fit he is. But the good thing also is that he is resting in the next 2 weeks. This weekend probably play the next week, so he will be fine. Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus or Gabriel Jesus, I don't know how you want to pronounce it. When he came to Manchester United, for me, Manchester City, for me, he was going to be one of the best strikers in the English game. He was that good, right? Um, but he didn't live to expectations. It didn't do well. Of course, when you play for City, it doesn't matter how bad you are, you can always score goals, right? But when he then left City to Manchester, to Arsenal, you could see that he was struggling. And especially on my side, that I started to realize one thing. I don't think he's an out and out striker. I think he can play number 10 or from the wings. I don't think he can actually play as a number 9. He's more of your Nicholas Jackson um, than anything else. He also has got an issue of also missing more clear opportunities than scoring. So he is actually, I think he is now, if I'm not mistaken now, I know he has been injured for quite some time. And I think he's now almost third or fourth striker for Arsenal. I think there is now too many strikers in front of him. So Flamingo from Brazil has said that they're interested in him, and I think he is also interested in leaving. But I'm not sure if Flamengo will be able to pay the 30 million price tag on him, because obviously the Brazilian teams and whatever, they won't be able to afford that. However, I think Arsenal, they're actually pushing for him to go in Europe, right? If he goes in Europe, 30 million, 35 million for me, for a player of his caliber, would be a very good bargain. So let's see what happens on the Arsenal side. I think they have to let him go. He wants to go to the World Cup and he will have to go. I'm not sure if he will then go, because there's quite a lot of players for Brazil in his position that are actually doing well. So it's something to watch in the near future. The last story that we can talk about is for Alvarez, right? The Atletico Madrid number 9. So for me, the same thing, right? Alvarez, when he came into to Manchester City, very good player. Unfortunately, City brought in Haaland, right? And you know Haaland is that good, right? One of the best strikers in the world, and also his physique, his height, and all those kind of things. And Alvarez requested to leave, and he went to Atletico Madrid. And in Atletico Madrid, for the last 2 seasons, doing very well, one of the best strikers in the world. I think even for the last 2 3 games, 4 games that the season has started, he has got 10 goal contribution. I think he has scored 7 and assisted 3, something like that. So he is doing very well. So there is a rumor now that Barcelona wants him. Remember, Barcelona, they will also want to replace Lewandowski, right? Because Lewandowski is not going to sign another 1 year contract. He will be leaving at the end of the season. And I think he will go to smaller teams because of his age. I think he's now, what, 36, 36, 37, somewhere there. So he's no longer as active as people would want. So they want 200 million, right? Euros from Barcelona. And I think one of the reasons why they want that higher, that much, is also because Barcelona is one of their direct rivals, right? They've got Real Madrid, Barcelona, and probably Sevilla for to a certain extent. But those three teams are the ones that always fight for the league. So you wouldn't want to sell your player to your biggest rival. So that's why they would say, if you want us, pay us 150, 200 million euros, and that will scare Barcelona away, because as you also know that Barcelona doesn't really have the cash flow to pay so much, right? So yeah, that's it for today. Let's see what happens tomorrow, what information we'll get tomorrow. As you know, that there is no football over the weekend. There is football over the weekend, but the Premiership is not there. There is the World Cup qualifiers from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then also midweek there is going to be some games. I think on Tuesday, Wednesday. Then the players will start to go back to their respective teams. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day further. Bye bye.